Ocean on the Rocks, coming back to you guys with another one. Recognizing the Game, episode 49. La Familia, Black Flag, Ya Tu Sabes. You know what it is. This particular installment is from the Semen Retention and the Authentic Self, Part 8. I was having a really good conversation with my cousin at the time and his experience overseas, the positives and negatives. He really had some. When I sit here and think about the experiences, it was a very deep, soul-revealing type of experience that he had. He went through a very trying breakup at the time, and it was one that could have been avoided, and it didn't have to go about the way that it did. We talked about battling porn addiction and just dealing with the sexual energy, the sexual urges, and being dominated by them. I called it the red zone because he was in a position where he could have almost lost his life, and if he wasn't in tune with himself, and he felt a presence that was over him and protecting him, he could have lost his life. And you don't want to get to that point where you're in the red zone. That's to that point where you have become so ruled by your sexual desires that your life becomes in jeopardy. Everything that you hold dear, you are one decision away from losing everything that you have, losing your credibility, compromising your integrity, and ultimately stepping away and undermining your character and who you are. And you'll have men that, because they're not having sex, they have replaced that behavior. They have replaced that activity with the behavior of masturbation. And so now you have become so ingrained with that behavior of masturbation that you can't even go a day or two without masturbation. So everywhere you go, you're thirsting for sex. You're thinking about sex all of the time because you're trapped in that primal state. Men have lost their lives for this. They've lost their jobs. They've lost relationships, their possessions. They find themselves locked up. Men have died for sex. The red zone is getting to that point where you're willing to sacrifice your source of income just to have sex. Like if you're spending thousands of dollars on OnlyFans, bro, that's a problem. All of this coming from your desire to have sex and the need for women. All of those things that you are doing are the complete opposite of what it takes to really attract women, to really get women to come to you. In order to have all of that, you have to take your energy away from them. You have to redirect it towards yourself, taking care of yourself and being in tune and in balance with who you are. Putting women on a pedestal is not going to get them. Making women a priority is not going to get them. Chasing women is not going to get them. Seeking their validation is not going to get them. Trying to get their acceptance and their approval is not going to get them. The only thing that's going to get them is you being authentic. You being unaffected and not being dictated by your sexual desire in their presence, period. When you stop making women a priority, stop making sex a priority, start giving your attention to the things that are more conducive to you actually truly being happy from within, that is how you draw them to you, because of your energy and because you are vibrating from a place that is complete, that is whole. Your vibration is authentic, it's real, it's going out and they feel it. It's unmatched. It's unmatched by the next man, especially if all he does is masturbate and weaken his energy and his sense of self. And this is very telling, and I want you all to hear me on this. When me and my cousin were talking, and I can relate to this from my own personal experience, when I wasn't making sex a priority and I wasn't focused on trying to get it, that's when I got it. And I said in another video, nature will take care of it and make sure that you get it, because everything works in accordance to its own time. When the energy is right, that's when it's going to happen. And it's not going to happen because you're stressing and worrying on it or worrying about it and you're so focused on it and consumed by it. That's actually going to create the opposite effect. When you focus so much on what you don't have, that's going to be the continuing, recurring thing, because that is what you're giving your attention to. So the fact that you're giving your attention to that, you're creating a space for that. That's why you're manifesting the absence, that lack, the incomplete. When you recognize that you already have it, when you put it in your mind that you have something already, even if you don't have it, and you align with that, your mind, your heart, and your being agrees with it, then it becomes. That's how it goes. You got to be vertical. You got to be integrated within. And shout out to Nipsey, Long Live Neighborhood Nip on the set. So you got to understand that you're stepping away from masturbation and you're starting to practice semen retention. Over time, that thirst and that unhealthy, unnatural desire, which runs rampant and dictates your mind, having you in a primal state of being hungry for sex all the time, that shit is not natural. It'll eventually die. Now, you having sexual desire is natural. When you have sexual desire, you're not supposed to be fearful of it or afraid of it or outside of yourself when you experience it. You're supposed to feel it and be like, yeah, and it's supposed to energize you and drive you forward in whatever direction that you want to go. That's how it's supposed to be, authentically. So you practicing semen retention is going to bring you back to your authentic self. And that authentic self is the place that you move from when you're trying to navigate and manifest what you want. But you're trying to get out of that red zone, because the red zone is irrational shit. You're so far away from your authentic and true self that you become consumed by your desire. And when you become consumed by your desire, you do irrational things, such as seeking out prostitutes or hopping in girls' inbox and sending her 4 or 5 messages, commenting on her pictures, talking about how beautiful she is and talking about what you would do to her. So get back to that authentic self, man. Abstaining from watching porn, abstaining from masturbation. Redirect that energy, work on yourself, organize your life, build yourself up, heal yourself. And as you go along, things will just come to you. Women will come to you because you're not concerned, you're not worried, you're not stressed, you're vibrating higher, and it's coming to you within the laws of nature. So the red zone, the way you end up being in the red zone is if you keep masturbating, you keep watching porn, you keep bringing yourself into that lower state and building that urge unnaturally to the point where it consumes you and controls you. You're fucking up your brain and your biorhythm, and you're conditioning yourself into a lower state of being, and you're trapping yourself in that primal state. You're trapping yourself in your root instead of allowing yourself to blossom from your root. You grow from the root. You could think about that in terms of your root chakra if you understand the chakra system. But everything comes from the root, even in the physical world. Your roots, to be authentic, or to be your authentic self, is to be rooted in who you are. And this is what I mean by recognizing the game. Love. Salute.